Update. My 29 male soon-to-be ex-husband seems to feel entitled to another chance with me, 28 female. Original story. My husband and I have been together almost 8 years, married for 2.5 of those. Last May, 2019, we separated seemingly overnight. He left me and our toddler and moved back to his hometown. There was never a solid reason given, just that he felt we should have never have gotten married. In July, he changed his tune and wanted to be a family again. He was still at his job at his hometown, so I decided I would ride it out at my job at a different city for a couple of months to build my resume, and then start looking for other jobs at his hometown. After 6 months of a brutal commute, taking care of our child during the week by myself, and driving to his hometown every weekend, interviewing, basically bending over backwards, I finally landed a great job in December. A week before I was to move into the new house we were buying together and start my new job, I found out he had been having an affair. He begged and pleaded for me to stay with him, said to break off all contact, and I foolishly agreed to give him another chance. 2 days later, while I was back in a different city and completing my last week of work at my old job, he unblocked her and everything, and liked her pictures on Instagram. I was devastated. On top of that crap show, he kicked me out of the house we were supposed to move in together, but I had to find a new place to live 2 days before starting my new position. We have lived separately ever since. He has said and done so many hateful things in this time period, and said so many times that he wants a divorce that I've lost count. Up until a month ago, he was still maintaining contact with her. I saw her car at his house, took pictures for the lawyers, etc., and he admitted he had been talking with her still. I stopped doing the pick-me dance about a month ago, and stopped reaching out to him besides contact about our child. Now, he has suddenly changed his tune, and is desperate to get me back and will do anything. He hasn't followed her and everything, and liked all her pictures. Tells me not to give up on our family. But I've moved on. I'm not interested in pursuing another relationship with him. He's hurt me deeply, and I feel like I've been screwed over by him so many times that I've lost count. How can I tell him there isn't a chance without sounding like a completely heartless person? I still want to be able to maintain a strong co-parenting relationship with him, so I am friendly to him, but he seems to take that as I want him back. I have relayed to him my feelings, but they fall on deaf ears. He says he will never stop trying to get our family back together and does not want a divorce. I do. Does anyone have advice? Now for the top advice before reading the updates. You are not heartless for being direct about your feelings. And even if you were, why would you be so careful about his feelings when he cares so little for yours? You need a lawyer to come up with a custody agreement. You do not need to be friendly with him to co-parent effectively. You just need to be cordial and not disparage him in front of your child. If OP is heartless, it's only because ex-husband smashed it over and over and over again. He only has himself to blame. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I needed to hear that. My ex feels entitled to a relationship with me. Filed under how awesome for him. See also, no is a complete answer. You're concerned about appearing like a heartless person to someone who not only acted heartlessly to you, but abandoned your child. Stop giving consideration and concern to people who've gone out of their way to give you neither. Here's what you tell him. Trust is one of the most important aspects of a relationship, and you have destroyed my ability to ever trust you. There can be no more chances because there is no more trust. If you want to prove yourself trustworthy, do it by being a good father and prove it to your child. Because the only future relationship we have is co-parents. Thank you so much for this. I need nothing but brutal honesty right now. How can I tell him there isn't a chance without sounding like a completely heartless person? Why does it matter to you if his feelings are hurt by how you phrase this? You gave him multiple chances. It is proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that he can never be trusted again. Some part of him understands this. Just be firm about what you have to say, and don't engage him if he asks you for another chance. No is a complete sentence. You're totally right. I guess my biggest thing is I know how awful it feels to be heartbroken, and I hate thinking that I'm the reason someone feels that way. He absolutely does not deserve my empathy, but for some reason I still feel like I have to be considerate. It makes no sense. Edited to add, just to show the kind of person he is, when I asked him about the reason for his sudden change of heart, he said it was because I seemed stronger. Ah, the irony. Honestly, a big thank you to the prick for yanking the rug under my feet not once, but twice, because I truly have realized how much better I can do. and how I don't need anyone but myself to have a happy life. Seriously, thank you to everyone who has read my story and commented. You have no idea how much it's helping me to focus on myself and realize I need to stop considering the feelings of someone who had no consideration of mine. I only hope that anyone who is in a similar situation realizes that you can and you do move on. And I promise that you will feel like a 10,000-pound weight has been lifted off your back. He is being served papers in the next 1 to 2 weeks. Guarantee the I've changed mask slips off. I hope I'm wrong, but I've learned all too well that my gut feelings are usually spot on. Hopefully I'll be back with an update in a few months with the good news that the split is official. And now for the update. Well, turns out my gut instincts were right. The entire time he was begging for another chance and promising this time would be different, eye roll, he was still sleeping with the affair partner and telling her he loved her and would do anything to make it work with her. It didn't even hurt me to find it out. I was that unsurprised. Just helped me stop feeling guilty. So I divorced him. I thank the universe every day that he is no longer connected to me in a romantic way. It feels like an enormous weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Shortly after my original post, I met someone by chance at a wedding and fell in love. This person is everything my ex-husband was not. The kindness, compassion, and respect they show not just me but to my daughter as well is like something from a dream. I never knew love could be so easy. To anyone in a loveless marriage reading this, leave. Do the hard thing. Especially if they have a pattern of leaving, /returning, /cheating, etc. Lord knows I was terrified to cut the cord. At one point in time, I was actually starting to feel bad for the guy because he was begging me every single day for another chance. He tried to convince me that getting a divorce would ruin my future, our daughter's future, that she would come from a broken family. But it was the exact opposite. It was broken already, and I've fixed it. Once I made up my mind that divorce was the best option, I absolutely thrived. I learned independence. I found how to be happy on my own. I found happiness in a partner. Life has never been so sweet. The bad stuff makes the good things so much better. Thank you, Reddit, for the support on my original post. It helped turn my graveyard into a garden. It was already broken, and I've fixed it. Gold. What a perfect way to say it. My husband feels he's entitled to another chance with me. Narrator, he isn't. Snowball on top of that, no one is. Let me guess. When he found out you found someone else, he started freaking out and saying you were breaking the family? I had a friend like this. He cheated constantly and then she found someone else. Suddenly, he was the victim crying to the friend group. He is not a friend anymore. He had a massive freak out when he found out I was seeing someone else. The irony is unreal. You probably won't read this, but this is exactly what I needed to hear at this exact moment in my life. I'm going through the same thing. Trying to leave but suffering the guilt and hearing his begging every day. But I already put down the deposit on my new place. I already bought my plane ticket. Just 3 more weeks and I'm free. I've been doubting myself more than ever as the time approaches. So like I said, I really needed this. Thanks. I'm reading everyone's comments. Don't let anyone guilt you into doing what you feel is right. Had it coming from all sides. Him, his family, his friends. You don't owe anyone your love. You're going to be so much better off. I promise. I'm rooting for you. Last story is titled, Update. Is it worth it to try to work things out with my boyfriend who is jealous of my stepbrother? Original story. My boyfriend, 19 male and I, 19 female, have been dating for just over a year. We're both in university and currently taking online classes due to the lockdown. When they announced the transition to online classes, I decided to move back to my mom's, about an hour and a half away. My town is a bit of a student town. There aren't many grocery delivery services and I don't drive. I didn't want to rely on the reduced bus service. My boyfriend tried to convince me to move in with him, but I refused because I didn't like the idea of being an illegal tenant in a house with 4 guys and 1 bathroom. My boyfriend was not happy with us. I've been back for 3 weeks, and things have been tense, especially surrounding my stepbrother, 22 male. My mom remarried when I was 15, and she moved her new husband and a son in. I've known stepbrother for 5 years, and our relationship was always friendly but distant. He's lived at home the entire time, and worked as a bartender prior to the quarantine. Ever since I moved back, boyfriend has been on my case about spending too much time with stepbrother. He gets really upset because we drive around aimlessly every day. I'm on a learner's permit, and stepbrother is helping me practice while the streets are empty, and the fact that we hang out and watch stuff together. Heather weather was nice this week, and stepbrother and I decided to eat our lunches in the backyard, picnic style. Boyfriend freaked out when he realized, accused me of going on quarantine dates behind his back. I didn't even tell him this. I guess he stalked stepbrother's Instagram story. And it wasn't a date. We're going into 5 weeks of quarantine. Bored out of our minds and doing anything possible for a slight change of pace. Boyfriend called me yesterday and told me that he was unhappy, felt disrespected, and that I needed to make a change to keep the relationship. He told me that stepbrother and I are not like regular siblings. We didn't grow up together, and so he's afraid things will escalate between us. I think this is gross. Stepbrother is not someone I would ever consider dating, but I'm certain he feels the same. Boyfriend told me that I would need to stop hanging out with stepbrother and spend more time FaceTiming and texting. Currently, we FaceTime every day, minimum 1 hour, but he said his ideal would be 3 to 4 hours. I think this is crazy, and part of me wants to tell him to shove it. But we had a great relationship before this, and another part of me wants to fight and save it. I know my boyfriend, and I'm fairly sure he is acting like this because he's still upset that I didn't move in with him. But it's going on week 4, and I'm not sure how much more I can handle. What should I do? Now for the top advice before reading the update. FaceTiming for 3 to 4 hours a day? That's a part-time job. That's completely unreasonable. Your boyfriend sounds exhausting. It seems like he thinks your job is to constantly pander to his insecurities. In my experience, you can't reason with someone who is this jealous and controlling. They either learn their lesson after they've been dumped a few times and mature a little, or they just never get better. You don't have some kind of duty to teach him to be a mature and trusting partner. If that's what you're asking, you never need a reason to break up with someone. Thank you. This resonated with me, especially about not having to teach him to be a normal boyfriend. Dude, you're finally seeing who your boyfriend really is. He wanted you to live with him so he could monitor you. I didn't even consider this, but you might be right. When we've thought about this, he has alluded to feeling like the situation was out of his control. If you really feel like your boyfriend is a good dude and there are no other red flags for you, put him in his place over this. Be firm and clear. I was clear on why I did not want to move in with you. I do not want to live with 4 men, let alone with 1 bathroom. That topic is done with. It should no longer be an issue. Regarding my stepbrother, your reaction to him is inappropriate. He may not be blood related, but he is my sibling. I do not appreciate you implying inappropriate things about our relationship. I will continue to spend time with my stepbrother, especially while in quarantine, and you need to accept that our relationship is familial, as it should be. I personally feel that his demand that you need to spend 3 to 4 hours a day FaceTiming is excessive. You are separate people and have separate lives, and that is okay. You should be able to go a day or 2 without contact every once in a while, especially in a healthy, trusting relationship. People need space on occasion, even from those they love. Just because it's quarantine and we're all comparatively unoccupied doesn't mean you need to be available all the time. I personally feel a lot of his behavior is unacceptable, but you have a wider context to your relationship and him as a person. He may just need to be forced to confront his negative behavior/thought processes that could be more prevalent during the weird time that is quarantine. Thank you. We're all on edge and stressed, so I'm sure this is exacerbated by the current situation. I think I'll essentially copy and paste what you've written. It's exactly what I want to communicate and to the point. And now for the update. After I posted, I took some time to read the comments and form a plan. I texted boyfriend telling him essentially that I needed a bit of space to take a breather and reevaluate. I made it clear that I didn't want to break up, but felt like I was always being monitored, and I wanted to make a game plan to have healthy communication through this pandemic. He called me super upset and accused me of choosing stepbrother over him. I told him that it wasn't about stepbrother. It's not like I chose stepbrother. He's literally just someone I get along with who I can hang out with during the pandemic. I explained to him that it was not like I was spending every waking moment with him. I do my homework in the morning. We hang out in the afternoon, and my evening time is divided between the 4 of us. Mom, stepdad, stepbrother, and FaceTiming boyfriend. Boyfriend then accused me of doing special boyfriend activities with stepbrother. He told me that it was always his dream to teach me to drive. He doesn't even have his permit. Am I supposed to wait around for him to get it? Also, apparently me teaching stepbrother how to bake bread, which is stupid because I was going to make the bread to begin with. And stepbrother helped by moving the heavy mixer, eating half the almond slices, and taking pictures for Instagram. He also screamed at me for not moving in, saying how all this would have been prevented if we were living together. I told him that I have no interest in living somewhere that I'm not allowed to be. I can't afford a fine from by law, and if I were to get kicked out, it would be more difficult to find my way home since I don't drive. In the end, I told boyfriend that I would not give up my relationship with stepbrother, who is part of my family and a genuinely nice guy, to ease my boyfriend's insecurities and cater to his demands. I told boyfriend that I needed to cool down and that I'd talk to him in a few days. That was all on Friday, and today I reached out to see how he was. He was still pissed at me and accusatory, so I basically told him that this wasn't working. I don't want to break up. I did it over text and then blocked him, which probably makes me an a-hole, but I literally couldn't deal with any more of him yelling at me and insulting my family. Anyway, thanks to everyone who commented. I'm really sad this is the outcome and I've been crying a lot, but I'm also kind of relieved. Good call. Your gut led you on this one. This sort of behavior would have found its way to something else, if you choose to dismiss it. Sounds like some real LDE, though. OMG, this is awesome. Good for you, girl. It's such a burden dealing with someone who is jealous and insecure. It's refreshing when you don't deal with them anymore. I can't believe her boyfriend chose to be such a massive knob wobble about this. I'd die to have a cool friend to hang out with right now. Awesome job. You definitely made a right move here. It might be hard, but he has so much growing up to do if he ever wants to be in a relationship. And I just mean in general. I'm definitely not advocating you wait around for him. You deserve better. The fact that he screamed at you is a huge red flag. I would have serious reservations in moving forward with this boy. He feels threatened by your family for no apparent reason, and him being possessive and wanting you to move in is a classic controller move.